Hi everyone. So it's Friday. I'm going to what am I saying? I'm going to look look into Trump's March. But first I won't spend too long on this, but it's pretty phenomenal. I want to show you what's going to happen with him, or what looks to be what could happen with him with the eclipses coming up this month. But first I wanted to let you guys know I had the rare pleasure for Danny Shea to come on live with me. Sometimes our schedules just don't sync up, but we did yesterday, and I was reading we were both reading on Trump, but I can't remember what the question was, and these were the 6 cards I got. Which everyone knows when you do a Celtic, not everyone, I'm sorry, any tarot reader knows when you do a Celtic cross, the first 6 are the center. So I had it like this, like here was the situation, and this is Putin. I was using this deck, and I'm going to reshuffle and use it again. And I'm also going to use a regular Rider-Waite, so hang in there for that too. But this is Putin pulling the strings on Trump, and Trump has to conform, right? That was at the center of the reading. He was challenged by the Indifference card, 8 of Cups, but in this deck, we just go with the artwork because it's so different. But I have written the card delineations on here. So if you order this deck, yours won't come with, these little markings on them, because I did that. Anywho, this to me looks like his biggest challenge, and this would be him sitting here looking at Putin. Putin does not care about anything other than money, and of course we all know that born psychopaths they don't have the capacity to care. They don't have empathy. It's all about money. Their souls are just locked into that, and that's very sad. But so it went like this. Putin's pulling the strings. Putin doesn't care. What he's sitting in, where he might have some control, is a lot of fast-moving criticism coming at him. What was in the past had to do with maybe a whistleblower, because it is our Page of Swords card, but I just, when I saw this card, I couldn't stop laughing. Where, we have publicity. And, this guy's like, he's so nuts that he's just saying shit, and he doesn't realize what has come out, and meanwhile his pants are down. We can see it all. Ew, right? And then what is hanging over him, which he does not have any control about or with, has to do with being seen as the guy that just tries to blow up the world. If you look at the extra little pieces of art down here, if I can get it to focus. Yeah. Look at that. That's pretty bad. It's like the guy that throws the bomb and doesn't care. Now, I'm not worried about anything nuclear, but he's wiping his lips. It's like, takes everything he wants and just doesn't care who falls off the planet or how the planet survives or anything like that. These people are so selfish. Now, this could also be Elon. Although it's a Saturn card, not Cancer, but not Capricorn Cancer. Elon's a Cancer. Saturn rules Capricorn. That's where my brain was going there. But here's the near future coming in for Trump, or his future is, 9 of Swords, not sleeping at night. We know he's haunted. It doesn't matter where he's sleeping, he's haunted. He's just got so much karma, and all of this is his twisted karma, and he really pays too much attention about what other people are saying about him, because that's how he rolls. So I've shuffled this deck pretty much already, but I'll reshuffle and we'll see. We'll look into March. But for the astrology, my goodness, Here we have the lunar eclipse. All lunar eclipses are full moons. Okay, so we have the full moon that's coming up March 14th. And so basically 2 weeks from today. And yeah, in his chart, so you guys have to remember with him, he was born right before, about 2 hours before an eclipse, a full moon lunar eclipse. His sun is up here, his moon is down here. His moon is conjunct a south node, indicating, yeah, he was probably famous in a past lifetime. It's in Sag. It had to do with politics. I've always felt that he was Mussolini in his past life. And so, anyway, we have, as astrologers, at least I do, well, I go by Bernadette Brady's predictions when it comes to her technique, when it comes to eclipses. So the rules are, you don't look at squares to an eclipse. You're looking at what's going on in the houses. I mean, you only look at squares to the eclipse if it involves a personal planet, such as the sun or the moon. Often the ascendant, I'll look at that as well. But you don't look at, you can look at conjunctions to the other planets for extra information if they're lining right up. But he doesn't, because they're conjunctions have to be within that 3 to 4 degree orb for eclipses anyway, because we're looking for tight, conjunctions. So we have a T square to his, so here's our lunar eclipse, full moon lunar eclipse, coming in at 23 degrees 56 minutes. Let's call it 24 degrees Virgo. His sun up here is at 22 degrees Gemini, 55 minutes. Let's call that 23 minutes. That is a 1 degree orb. And then over to his moon, same thing there. It's a little, it's 1 degree off, but whatever. It's only 2 degrees. It's within that very tight orb. So what this means is that there's extra emphasis on this lunar eclipse for him, and it is going to it's going to challenge, I'll translate the aspects for you, it's going to challenge the very core of his existence and his emotional reality. And especially the way people see him with the public. With Sag on his south node, I would think that there's, you guys are going to say, he doesn't have a higher self, but everybody has a higher self. And his higher self intention, I believe, was to bring out the truth from the past, Sag, from the past. And he was a dictator in his past life. So there's that. And in bed with dark money, Nazi sympathizer. I mean, well, we all know what Mussolini did. So there's that. Here's the axis of the full moon eclipse, and now this is what you guys would want to do in your own chart if you know your chart, is just look and see what house does 24 degrees of Virgo land in, and then the polar opposite Pisces, because that's where the sun will be reflecting this thing. And then you're going to be looking at, for the next 6 months, it's a change point for you, because eclipses reveal hidden information, and they create turning points and new changes in direction, and they most of all speed things up. They bring in new opportunities. For him, I think it's more like the light shining on, well, there's a lot going on here. Let's just go one at a time. But first of all, the sun, the light is shining on more people that are involved in his, because this is our house of other people's resources. So we're talking, death, rebirth, secrets, betrayals, all of that coming out, being revealed, and it will affect very deeply his second house of his personal finances. And so monies that he took in the past, because for him everything is extremely karmic. Well, for all of us too, but for him, the public has to call him to the carpet. He doesn't have an employer, that kind of a thing. And, you know, the darker they are with the amount of money they have, they can control reality a little bit more and prolong things. But eventually everything comes out. So the only other little things I want to go over real quick is the solar eclipse that comes in at the end of the month will also be up here in the 8th house because it's at 9 degrees Aries. And Venus is going retrograde tomorrow for 40 days and 40 nights, basically. And I'll cover more of that. I do astrology in my dailies. I do 3 cards with the tarot and then the daily astrology. So I'll cover that for tomorrow. But anyway, for him, it's, again, in his 8th house. So Venus rules money, okay, right? Venus rules relationships. Venus rules values. We know he doesn't have any other values other than just more money and controlling people, getting what he wants because he's the born psychopath. And, you know, Elon Musk is too. So like attracts like, and this is all probably going to be revealed over the next 6 months and more, or sooner. You know, that's the thing. We're in that window already. Because I know this is 2 weeks away, but the eclipse windows they open a couple weeks before. And we're also in the pre-shadow phase of Mercury going retrograde, which happens on March 14th too. So the same day we have the eclipse, we have Mercury retrograde. How do you like them apples? Mercury retrograde, so Mercury brings in information, okay? Mercury brings in transactions that happened in the past. When it comes to votes, Mercury's the ruler. When it comes to things that people have done, Mercury is the messenger. So Mercury, when it goes retrograde, and it's now in the pre-shadow phase today, it's going to continue on in his 8th house. And then April 7th, when it's, the retrograde ends and it stations direct, it's still going to be in his 8th house because it'll be at 26 degrees of Pisces. And, do you think it'll be maybe right conjunct the North Node, which is the path he's going in? The path that he's going towards is astrologically, and you guys could check in with Andre, see what he gets. Check in with Cosmic Owl Astrology and see what Louise gets. And check in also with not Lucy. Her name's Dabney. Dabney Lawless over at Lawless Astrology. I call her Lucy Lawless, like Wonder Woman. And there are so many other good astrologers out there that I'm just, it's slipping my mind, and please forgive me because I never mean to leave out anyone. And you guys, if you get good guidance from some other astrologer, drop it in the comments. But anyway, Mercury retrograde is going to be in his entire 8th house, and it's going to clock him, in the direction he's moving. So I think that over the next, 6-7 weeks, it's not good. And for this month especially. Now, we may not see everything because we always remember eclipses take like those 6 months to unfold. So, the end of the month on March 29th, it's still going to be, it'll be right in here at that 9-degree point, like right where Mercury is right now. So that's phenomenal, I think. So it's still going to be, you can see in his 8th to 2nd house polarity. It's not going to change houses. That T-square is actually very phenomenal. And then Venus, like I was saying, it goes retrograde tomorrow. And then, again, money, relationships, all that. And Neptune moves into Aries at the end of the month, right after we have our solar eclipse. That solar eclipse is coming in at 9 degrees of Aries. Right here. You can see that. So if you want to take a screenshot so you have the times and the dates, for that, go for it. I'll leave it there while I shuffle the cards. Well, let's do that this way because I want to use the Visions of Life tarot first. And Actually, I'll just move this over here so I can shuffle a little bit easier. You guys can kind of digest that, maybe. Oh, and I've always suspected his chart's off a little bit. And you know, I mean, if that's the case, it puts Mars in the first house, and it does shift these house cusps. So if it's not the 2nd to the 8th, it'd be the 1st to the 7th. And either way, the first is if it is the 1st to the 7th, then he's still having major problems with his sense of identity and attracting whatever into his life that is karmically his thing to attract. And then the 7th house is relationship. So either way, it's him in relationships. And we all know, doesn't matter what relationship it is, it's all built, or, what gets thrown into the equation has to do with money. It's always about money because he's so transactional. And Mercury is that transactional planet. But I've always suspected he was born a little bit earlier than that 10:54 a.m. because if you just clock up it goes like this, goes counterclockwise, puts Mars in his first house or right on his ascendant, and that's him, That goes. Okay. Thank you, my guides. Thank you so much for helping me line the cards, getting the cards lined up to look at Trump's March. And I'll do the same thing with the regular tarot as well. Don't know if I'll use any Lennies or maybe not for this point. And feel free to drop in any questions. I have a list over here from several people that I'm trying to catch up with to help them out, or to honor their questions. Kay Nelson, yours is coming up next. I think it was about whistleblowing. Okay. March. How will it go for Donald John Trump? For Felon 45, it never really was I don't believe he was ever really, well, I believe a lot of people voted for him, but I also believe there's a lot of cheating both times. We know that for sure. Right there. Oh no, it's the devil. And what's that? It's like, hey, look over there, and but what am I taking out of your pocket, kind of a thing? Or don't forget who's, wow, don't forget who's in control. So this is his bondage with the likes of Leon. I call him Mr. KKK because, he's the Nazi dude. Ketamine Kid. Krasnov and KKK, the Ketamine Kid. Okay, you're in business together. And it's all about relations. Remember that movie? Was it Eddie Murphy who played Big Mama? Was that Eddie Murphy? I think it was. Anyway. Going in different directions. They really only love themselves, but they're joined at the hip for their own sick purposes. Whoa. Oh, poor little heart is only so big. He needs the Grinch. But we've got the Three of Swords. So this goes with the astrology. You like them apples. So relationship betrayal, rejection, people see him as the addict, and people see him as being just bound with addiction, materialism, apathy, cruelty. That's our devil card. Relationships, the lover's card is all pretty much just about choices, and we know about his choices. Oh, and look what came through again. You saw me shuffle. In the past, this is who's pulling the strings over Trump. Well, we know. It's anybody with enough. Just give me the money. And the compromise. what's hanging over him in a place that he does not have control is the Fool. So this really is eclipse energy, because you got to remember, you know, his sun is with, you know, with only about 4 or 5 degrees of Uranus, and Uranus rules the Fool card in the tarot, and in with all that emphasis in Mercury, that stellium that stellium in Gemini that's ruled by Mercury. His mind just goes, he's all over the place. So, but when you use a deck with specific artwork, you damn well better go with the artwork. So he's getting kicked out of some place that he has felt comfortable with. And I love those eyeballs there. Okay, near future, 8 of Wands, a whole lot of information's coming in. Things are hitting the ground. He's rushing around trying to keep up. I don't know that he could do that so well. He tends to just operate in denial. Whoa! On the inward level, he's attracting, because of everything that's inside of him, he's attracting the Ten of Swords. He's attracting, you know, it's usually our face plant. Well, it is in the Rider-Waite-Smith. It's our, well, here. Where's my, here we are. I have my deck in order for my dailies in case I have to explain something here. There we go. How's that? Does that bring it home? That's what he's attracting on the internal levels. Externally, he's also attracting, or what's coming in this next. So this is for the whole month and beyond, because this is setting up the month because of the eclipses. We have the 5 of Cups, and he can't even really speak. He's so, well, I would think no one wants to hear him anymore. I mean, I'm already that way. You guys are too. It's like the news, you know, starts to, at least they're warning us nowadays. Well, this is what he said. And then I grab the remote and no, I do not listen to his voice, because I know everything he says is just nothing but a lie. But, you know, they got to clock the lies. But at this point, if a person hasn't paid attention to the fact that he lied, was it like over 300,000 times in his first administration? Well, he'll probably clock up another 300 with this one, but he won't. It's not going to last for 4 years. There's no way. Long-term future for him, this goes beyond this month, is the Profit and Loss card in this deck. It's the 2 of Pentacles. So he's going to be looking at the fact that no matter what he and Doge do, or what he does through Doge, who was it? Was it Raymond yesterday said, Raymond Pascal, it's a department of greed and evil. Yeah, no matter what the Department of Greed and Evil says that they are saving, it's all a big lie, and it's just to bring it into the coffers of this guy and this guy, you know, the little guy over in Russia. The outcome for this month, it's a Knight of Cups, but I'm not reading it that way. I'm reading it as he's delusional. People, well, you know what? Actually, because of the Ten of Swords down here, I have a feeling that this month is about people online getting together and talking and seeing how deluded they were. And he is not their knight in shining armor. He is not bringing in anything that anybody wants. In fact, it's the opposite of that. So, okay. Oops. Now let's go with the regular tarot and see what we get there. And I'll just leave all the cards. Yeah, I'll just leave them all upright, just to make it easier visually for you guys. And I tend to get like a blurry kind of a look at the card when it's supposed to be reversed. And if I see that, I will flip it around and explain it, and then flip it back up. Okay, Donald. Don Old. Don the Con. March 2025. Right there. Well, that card was on the, I remember seeing it. We've seen it. So, and we did see it in the Visions of Life. So what is at the heart of the matter, the forces in motion, when it comes to the Knight of Cups, in the position of the forces in motion, we're dealing with definitely reversed. We're dealing with not getting, or we're dealing with his people that voted for him not getting what they wanted. And on his personal level, I feel like this is him just being seen as the fraud, who's really moody, and he all he does is gives to get. All he does is gives to get. And people have lost, people will be losing this month their, how they were charmed by him. And the imagination is gone. So that's the true meaning of the Knight of Cups reversed. What his challenge is, I'm going to call that Putin. His big challenge, well, on a few different levels. His big challenge is Putin. His big challenge is the fact that we all know that he's that Trump himself wants to be like Putin. He wants to be the dictator. He is the tyrant. He is the worst father on the planet. He is really controlling, just really, really controlling and rigid, and we don't want his domination. He's like hell-bent on bringing up things that make people angry. He's angry all the time. He's having emotional reactions. He's having the problems with his authority. And he's also, I think, having problems with people that are going to lash out against him. So he's in a lot of struggle. Tons of struggle. Okay, where he's sitting, now we don't have to read this as victory. I mean, if you guys get this card for you personally, I tend to look at it as, recognition. So he's going to be recognized for this. In the past, quid pro quo. In the past, this is him giving to get. This is being seen as somebody who just does that. And so there's something that's going to come out. We've got our Eclipse card. That's what's hanging over him. And he has absolutely no control over that. Near future, betrayal. We had that card before. Let me lay all these out, and then I'll talk more about how they all connect. Yeah, I'll go ahead and go there. Let's do an extra one here. And what was on the bottom? Yeah. Okay. So now that I have these that are on the bottom, what I'm seeing here is government problems with balancing the budget. And I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Yeah, when I sit back and kind of get this one's upside down, this one's reversed. This one's reversed. And the Two of Cups is reversed. It's interesting. I would think the Nine of Pentacles would be reversed, but it's not. Okay, so for clarity on that, now what I'm seeing is not coming together, the very real possibility of a government shutdown, and it's his fault. I'll read on that separately because I want to be wrong about that. I mean, people are hurting enough. So the Magician reversed is our con man. So it's like this way. So okay, sorry. Let me get my mouth together here. So normally, these are extra cards. Normally we go from the near future to, the way I read is internal influences. But to me, whatever's going on inside of us is what we're attracting. So these two cards really jive for me when I look. So Judgment, when it comes through upright, could be, so internally he thinks that he is, he's the guy that can just judge what needs to be done. And he's following his inner calling. But also, this could be literal judgment. I need to do a separate reading on what Scrotus might be, whether or not they're going to help him. Externally, with the swords hanging over him, the Four of Swords, and he's laying down, if this is Scrotus, I don't, because this could be like the Congress. This would be both, both branches, both chambers of Congress, House and Senate. But over here, this could be Scrotus being in the ultimate judgment, not giving him what he wants. Because I did see this one reversed. This is the long distance future for me. I let go of the hopes and fears because I don't really give a shit what he's afraid of, and I don't care what his hopes are. So for political readings, I don't look at that. But if you're doing a personal reading, maybe you'd want to look at it, but the person's already going to be telling you. Or if you're reading yourself, you know what you're afraid of and what you want. So it just kind of confirms things. I like to look at it as long distance future. In this situation, this would have to do with RFK Jr. and his health and human services problems. Now, this is also our Sagittarius card here. Things are not going to go well for RFK Jr. because, we've already lost one child to measles in Texas. And it is airborne. It's airborne. It's so bad. It's so contagious. They did because it's been around since the 50s. I got it when I was a kid. Thank God I didn't die because they didn't have vaccines in. But then when the vaccine came out, I got it. I got the vaccine. But the way it goes now, because they've had all these years to check into it, they have figured out that somebody that has measles can walk into a room and, we're imagining the doors closed, the windows closed, maybe they have air conditioning on, we don't know. But at the worst, so the person walks in there, and if they cough in that room, and you can imagine that's probably likely the case, that the particles, the airborne particles, are just hanging loose in that room for almost 2 hours. That's how contagious it is. So just know that. And we all know that RFK Jr.'s kids are all vaccinated, and he's nothing but a fucking liar. The guy's just a liar. He's sick in the head. His brain worms definitely took something out of there, and I'm surprised that he's even upright. So there's that. That's another element that adds to the betrayal that Trump is going to go through. And remember, the faceplant, might as well just put this over here because that happened in the last reading. And the but in that deck it was a treachery, and in that deck the card was, remember, people. Hold on. Oh, where did it? No, maybe oh crap. Oh well, I remember it. It was. Oh, here we go. No, I just kind of threw them back together. It was a graveyard. It was literally a graveyard. So the Ten of Swords is more than just, one person, they're down. This guy, it was connected with a graveyard. Well, remember COVID. We know what could be happening, right? But the way and I didn't see this reverse, so the way I'm going to read this as the outcome for the end of the month is he is going to be seen as somebody who's just basking in his own luxury at Mar-a-Lago any chance he can, at Doral any chance he can, and at Bedminster any chance he can. And more people are going to see how he's just played this shell game. And now they have options to get under that veil of illusion and see what really happened. So that's his march, the way I see it. I'm thinking I'll just get this uploaded for now, otherwise it gets too long. And if you have any extra questions, then feel free to drop them in, and I'll do separate readings on that. Okay, thanks you guys. As always, take good care. Bye.